As the coronavirus killed
The number of
more than
people who've
200,000
contracted the
I can't say it
coronavirus
enough.
continues to grow.
Enough
More than
people have
1,600
died. We don't need
Americans
any
are
more
infected.
deaths like crazy.
The virus has come not from China.
fighting the coronavirus.
Spent weeks minimizing what is clearly a very serious problem. No doubt these people have good intentions.
I think the pandemic has reminded us how we do not have enough doctors in the right specialties and in the right places. Since the beginning of the pandemic, if you would try to remember, doctors have been working round the clock in order to save the lives of people. And in the process also of doing this one, many dedicated doctors succumb to the deadly virus. And we know all that one in many news that we have seen. We also see hospitals overflowing with patients, understaffed, but then the battle continues. This in itself is a manifestation that the growing need for doctors in every corners of the world remain to become a reality and at the same time a problem. The path to a significant curricular reform is a difficult thing because of a variety of factors, to include the challenge of physical distancing, since we all know practice-based learning is the backbone of education, especially among doctors. We need to see patients. We need to harness our skills, knowledge, and attitude by looking at patients, okay, so that this would be able to enhance or forge our professional identity and develop an orientation to a patient-focused based care that would shape the practice of future medical doctors. We wanted to produce doctors with a heart. And our goal is also to define a unique characteristic that will be anchored to the local needs and national health needs of the people of Mindanao. I believe looking at the vision mission of the college and influenced by the universal healthcare law, I think we seek to envision and integrate a comprehensive approach that will be cost-effective, promotive, and preventive, as well as curative, palliative, and rehabilitative, one that would encompass the entire domain of the individuals and the population, particularly here in Mindanao. For we are trying to be committed in producing medical doctors imbued with a heart to serve and is willing to contribute for nation building in our country. And I think this is always a possible. This is always our strategic plan to set apart JMC as a college of medicine. We wanted to create doctors with a heart. We are very lucky. We have our own LMS, the Learning Management System, powered by Huawei. This is the first in the Philippines. Everything is there in terms of lectures, in terms of resources for learning. And I think our new generation could adapt of it because these are the computer-based population. The COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut down all across the world. And education has changed with a distinctive rise in the new method of learning. And I think adaptability and ingenuity were the two core values that we have learned from this experience. Dream big. They have to dream big. Dare to dream. As long as you have the dedication, you have the passion of becoming good doctors in the future, we welcome you to the College of JMC, especially in the Department of Medicine.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of JMC EduTrends, a discussion that informs, inspires, and transcends. To all our first-time viewers, this program streams live on www.facebook/Jose Maria College and on YouTube at JMC EduTrends. Don't forget to type in your comments and questions, send your emojis, click the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you would be notified of future discussions on JMC EduTrends. Without much delay, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the program host of today's discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, folks and friends, JMC EduTrends family, welcome to another episode of JMC EduTrends, a discussion that informs, inspires, and transcends. I am your host, Lord Vincent Van Mendoza, the head of training and development of this great academy. And joining me this afternoon is one of our faculty from MedTech, Sir Ray on the big screen. Sir, good afternoon po. Welcome to the show. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Sir, parang hindi po kita marinig, sir.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that.
All
I think I
right. There
muted
you
my.
have it.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
So,
So
kumusta po, Sir Ray? How
I'm
does it
I'm
feel
good. I'm
to,
good.
to be in the show? All right, good to hear that. Ano ba yung ano ba yung theme natin for the celebration of the MedTech month? Just to set the mood and expectation of our fans or audience for this afternoon.
I think we really want that for the medical technology or medical technology profession to be recognized as one of the healthcare workers here in the country, since we are one of the most underrated professionals in the healthcare setting. Many of the people aren't really aware of the role of the medical technologists sa mga hospitals and laboratories. So I think our MedTech month really aims to let the profession or let the profession be recognized po.
Ayan. That's exactly the one of the many reasons why we hold this another special episode of our show so that sabi nga nang na-mention ni Sir Ray para po ma-recognize ang medtech profession. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is broadcast via official YouTube and Facebook channels of Jose Maria College. And on that note, Sir Ray, pwede ba tayong mag-ano muna ng quick shoutout sa ating fans or friends joining us live on Facebook and YouTube? Sir Ray, please do the honors of
Oh,
doing
hi
a
guys. Um, I would like to give a shout out to all my medtech friends and medtech colleagues. I hope you're well, especially those who are working on the front line in this battle against in this battle against COVID-19. We would like to salute you all and a big thank you for your service.
All right, Sir Ray, well, shall we mention quite a few friends sa ating comment section? Tech, pwede bang paano natin? Sino ba yung who's joining us? There you go. Sir Ray, we have Joanna Luis Altres Goyano, BSMT.
Hi, good evening, Miss Joanna Luis Altres Guyano. We also have here joining with us Mr. Stephen J. Galarpe from BSC3.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Mr. Kurt Alonzo, vlog. Also Enrique Miguel Llanto. Hi, good evening.
Sir, alam mo, sir, it's good to know na may may vlogger parang tayo
Yeah,
na fans na
I'm,
fans
I'm
tonight.
actually, I'm
Baka
actually
ma-feature po tayo, Sir
honored.
Ray.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm actually
Yeah
honored na may
po.
vlogger po tayo.
Yep, even I. This special episode will shed light on our questions in regard to the profession of medical technology, and for that reason, we have set out a discussion about the professional organization of in medical technology as pillar for professionals. And later on in the show, we will be introducing to you our esteemed guest speaker, which will be introduced by Sir Ray. And eto po muna, sino ba yung nag-join sa atin dito? I think marami pang iba. No? We also have, yep, Ma'am Bea. Sir, I think parang familiar si Ma'am Bea.
Yeah,
Di
really
ba?
very well familiar tayo sa kanya because she's the dean of the College of Medical Technology uh, in JMC. Hi, good afternoon, Mambea.
Ayun. And in relation to our discussion, we have also invited Sir Ray. I know we have invited some college students from MedTech department to also share with us their, shall we say, reactions or baka may mga questions pa sila sa ating guest speaker, which will now be introduced. Sir Ray, please do the honor.
Okay, so again, mayong gabi mga higala and good evening to everyone tuning in with us. I welcome you all to another episode of JMC EduTrends 2021-2022. And on this episode of JMC EduTrends, we are going to talk about the medical technology profession because this month we are celebrating the month of our medical laboratory professionals. Before anything else, again, I would like to give a big shout out to my fellow medical technologists out there, especially to those who are working on the front line in this fight against COVID 19. Shout out to you guys, and on behalf of the JMC community, I would like to thank you all for your service. A big salute to all of you at mahigpit na yakap para sa inyong lahat. And to all that is and to all who are watching and listening, if you have comments, suggestions, and questions regarding the topic later, as well as shout outs, don't hesitate to type it in on the comment section box. And don't forget to like and share. You can use the hashtag JMC EduTrends and the hashtag proud to be katusok. Diba? Pag may proud to be kapuso, proud to be kapamilya, I guess we can call ourselves as katusok. So hashtag proud to be katusok. And eto na nga, as we celebrate this month of September as our MedTech month, we have dedicated this episode to talk about the developments in medical technology profession, as well as the impact of professional organizations like PAMET in the professional growth of an individual, and also the future of this profession in the country, especially that we are one of the most underrated professionals in the healthcare setting. I think mga katusok, you can all agree with me in this. In fact, it was only recent that medical technologists are getting recognized by the masses as to their role as medical workers in the country and the increasing popularity of medical technology among colleges. So, to talk about more of this stuff, our guest speaker for tonight is one of the pillars in the progress of medical technology here in Davao and in Mindanao. Definitely a real OG. He has been a member of the Philippine Association of Medical Technologists, or PAMET, since 2001. That's basically 20 years, and had held several positions in the organization, such as he was the board director of the organization from 2005 to 2006. He had served as a chairperson of the Committee of Continuing Education from 2006 to 2008, and had also been a chapter president from 2012 to 2016. To add up to that, he had also carried out numerous lectures and seminars to both the academe and professional field. Presently, he serves as the regional director for PAMET Southern Mindanao and is currently a faculty member in the College of Medical Technology at Brokenshire College of Davao. Please help me all welcome Sir Larry J. Langaman.
Thank you very much, Sir Ray,
Welcome to the
for
show
that
po,
very
Sir Larry.
hi.
Good.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Sir Ray, and thank you, Sir Vincent, for welcoming me to your show. I would rather call it a show. And my appreciation as well goes to Mambea for the opportunity to engage with the Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences. She is the dean, as introduced earlier. I have known Mambea for the nth time because of our work with PAMET. And of course, I would like to appreciate the invitation as well from the entire administration of JMC, the newest school that offers medical laboratory science as well as the medicine together with law. So hindi ko usual na nakikita ganong combination of medtech, medicine, and law. And I think that can be one of your differentiating factor And I could talk more about all those things about the organization because those are the things that I'm interested with. But my task tonight is going to be on PAMET. And I appreciate that you have given time, PAMET, to be introduced. I know Ma'am Bea can actually introduce PAMET, but I know ano lang siya, just to give time and the opportunity to present PAMET from the perspective of the region. So let me just share with you the slide that I have prepared. Don't worry, this may not take too long because there are just about a dozen of slides. Can the tech help me out? Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Very energetic hosts and tech. All right. I so I'd like to talk about PAMET as an organization, and I'd like to introduce PAMET as well to the our audience who are just joining us. And sooner or later, you'll be joining the ranks, and you'll be, of course, standing side by side, with our frontliners. And I really do appreciate that you have chosen this path of career. PAMET is an organization of medical laboratory scientists. That's how you call it today, but in the past years, it's called medical technologists. That also includes the medical laboratory technicians because based on our constitution and bylaws, as well as the law that creates medical laboratory science or medical technologies, uh, it caters as well the practice of medical laboratory technicians. Both of these RMTs, the registered medical technologies and registered medical laboratory technician, underwent the same program. They just they took the same board examination. It's just that the other one garnered a lower score, but both of them are recognized professional under our law. uh, PRC recognizes PAMET as the only accredited professional organization. We call it APO, accredited professional organization, of those accredited professional organization. It was organized in 1973 by then the great Mr. Crisanto Almario. He's not a medtech during that time. Of course, medtech was not recognized. Sir Ray mentioning earlier that there is a need to recognize medical technologies, and I think the recent health crisis actually spotlighted the practice of the profession. But you can see that the logo doesn't show a 1973. It rather shows a 1974. It was so because it was in 1974 that the first convention was held in Far Eastern University. And it was during this time that the first president of PAMET was elected in the person of Charlemagne Tamundong, the one on the rightmost uh, part of the image. That's the first PAMET national president. Oops, sorry. All right. Uh, Currently, PAMET organization runs under this structure. If you would like to look at the organization, like I said, I'm interested with our organization. Any organization I'm connected with, I'd like to understand by looking at the organizational structure. So currently, this is how PAMET operates. At the top of the ladder is the national officer and the board of director. The national officer is headed by no less than the national president. And of course, its board of directors. The current national president is Sir Romel Saceda. He had served with PAMET for the past years as board director. I knew him so well because I am the vice chair of the COMELEC for national organization. And uh, these batches of officers have gone through the scrutiny of the COMELEC. And beneath that is the advisory council, and most of these are made up of the past presidents of the organization. Uh, we recognize that they have the wisdom for the operation of the national organization, and therefore they are the rightful person to become the advisory council. But they do not carry any vote, so they are just an advisory. In terms of votation, it is now the responsibility again of the national officer and the board of directors. Just beneath the national office is the offices of the regional directors. Currently, we have five regions. It's divided into five regions. We have two in Luzon. We have the North Luzon. We have the South Luzon. We have the Visayas, just one in Visayas. And then we have two in Mindanao as well. We have the Northern Mindanao and Southern Mindanao. Well, the division is not based on the regions where it's divided into 17 regions. We divided that into five for purposes of grouping the regions. For Southern Mindanao, where our location belongs, it's made up of six chapters, which Davao City is one of the forerunners. In fact, Davao City is the very first chapter established in Mindanao, and in fact, the third chapter throughout the country to be established. The first one was in Cebu, the second one is in Baguio, and the third is Davao City. And that's the reason why we are celebrating the 50th golden anniversary for PAMET Davao. And after, just below the office of the regional director, you can see that there's chapter president. So areas that were able to organize chapters are represented by their chapter president. And there's a lot of those. If you would like to know, there are over 60 chapters all over the country, spanning from Northern Luzon, Southern Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, as well as we have international chapters in Austria, Kuwait, Oman, Singapore, UAE. And there's about 8, 9 of them. And we also have what we call the institutional unit, where the members are only located in one institution. That's why we call it the institutional unit. And the very first one is the PAMET PGH. You might be wondering, or probably our students might be wondering, how PAMET in the Philippines is associated with PAMET USA. Well, both of these exist, but they are not responsible in terms of reporting to each other. Which one is higher? We call them the sister organization because they prefer to call the group of medical technologists as well, even in other countries such as the US, to develop a group that's called PAMET. The slides that are succeeding are going to present to you the focus of PAMET and as well as the activities that is being conducted year-round. So number one, PAMET represents the profession. That's the very first role of PAMET. That's why PAMET is organized, because it wants to represent the profession. It represents the profession from the legislation. That means kung natatandaan ninyo o kung napag-aralan na ninyo ang RA 5527, the law that creates medical technology in the Philippines, no? As early as 1969, no? Yan ang isa sa ating pinaglalaban. This law is already more than 50 years old, and if you try to look at the provisions, no, there's a lot of areas that needs improvement, that needs advancement. And so therefore, we have gone through a lot of presentations, even presenting to the Senate. The very recent one was actually in 2016, when we almost got to third reading. No, it's tapos na yung second reading, pero nagkaroon ng, maalala niyo, the mamasapa, no. And so ganun naman talaga, no, sa Senate, uunahin kung ano yung pinaka-priority. And syempre, natapos yung Congress during that time, and there's another new Congress, and we still submitted. In fact, I'm part of the legislation committee of PAMET. We discuss the contents of the revision that we are submitting. Of course, it's not as easy as you just simply submit. No? There's an element of stakeholders meeting, you have to make sure that all the stakeholders, not just the medical technologists, that includes the owners of private laboratories, the pathologists, all other professionals, even the microbiologists are being consulted regarding the improvement and the amendment, proposed amendment of the law. And it entails a lot of discussion, a lot of effort in terms of pushing for the legislation, as well as PAMET represent the profession at the executive level. It can be PRC, the Professional Regulation Commission. It's a government agency that regulates the practice of profession. Um, you have DOLE, of course, medical technologists work in the healthcare industry and even outside. And so there is a need to engage with DOLE, even more so with the Department of Health. And not just that, not just the national agencies, as well as the local government unit, because at times we are called upon to be consulted and be referred for any issues, concerns related to the practice of medical technology. In fact, sometimes we are the ones um, uh, offering our time to engage with local government. I'm sure if you ask Ma'am Bea, she has been called by the city health, by the city government to represent PAMET in many instances, and so that creates an opportunity for the medtech to offer what we can, as well as the limitations that we have, so that these limitations can be addressed as well, not just by the profession, but it is a collaborative effort of our local and national government. We also promote health in public. That's why we have several interviews, as shown by this image, which is our past president, Sir Ronaldo Puno. During that time, was interviewed by CNN, and I think a lot of them were interviewed as well, not just for hygiene, not just for laboratory, as well as how the practice of medical technology can be enhanced during the time of pandemic. Not just in the local scene, but as well as in the international arena, PAMET represents the medical technology profession in the international arena, such as those in the IFCC, even in the APFCV. These are organizations. These are encompassing organizations in Asia, even in ASEAN, and I'll be showing some of that later on. So let's spark some of those topics on network and connection. Aside from promoting the profession, PAMET also supports medical lab technology. It creates a venue for dialogue for various issues that would include workplaces, that would include trainings, no trainings, opportunities to raise their competencies and become globally competitive. It creates as well the opportunity to elevate the ranks and recognize the profession through presentation in international forum. Just recently, we had the research forum, which is an annual activity with or without pandemic, and this creates an opportunity as well for the professionals to earn CPD units. But we move from just earning the CPD unit to developing the skill and exercising the competencies that we have acquired through the research forum, as well as conventions. Even in the midst of pandemic, we really need to deliver activities that would enhance the competency. An example for that is the mid-year convention, which actually hosted by our PAMET Baguio Benguet Mountain Province chapter, which earned all participating medtechs the CPD units of 14.5. This is a 4 day activity. Now, aside from all those that were mentioned, it is also important that PAMET recognizes the output, successes of our members, and we elevate and we allow that our organization recognizes those achievements. In fact, a trivia, medical technologists here in Davao City under the banner of PAMET Davao City, which is headed by its chapter president, Professor Maria Bea Lau, earned not just one, two, three, four recognition, and it went even beyond the awards and recognition of PAMET National. We are the very first chapter who earned the Hall of Famer award, which means that we were able to to be recognized as the third and the fourth most outstanding chapter for the past many years. Hindi ko na po inabutan yon when I was president of PAMET Davao. Ibig sabihin, noon pa man, no, PAMET Davao is excelling. That's why I call PAMET Davao as a beacon, no, of information and success in terms of chapter organization. And I congratulate the team of Ma'am Bea Lau because of their untiring activities for PAMET Davao just to serve the membership. You can also see here that it's not all work. No, we really need to have a work-life balance. You know, it's very important that you create an opportunity for recreation, an opportunity for medical technologies to really meet and just bowling tournament. But aside from that, we also inculcate the responsibility of a member of a community that helps out. When the series of earthquakes in 2018 struck Mindanao, Davao del Sur, Davao City, even North Cotabato, Kidapawan area suffered, and we really went there and helped out. And we did not help out based on our capacity. The national office, together with the rest of the 40, during that time, 41 strong chapters, contributed, and we were able to raise almost 500,000 just for to support, not just the medical technologists working in the field, but as well as the community where they work, and they really appreciate that. Sometimes we met families of medtechs who endured the earthquake. Sometimes may mga galos pa yan, and napaka heartwarming to for them to tell us that we are happy that you remembered us. You know, we're bringing them some food, but actually, in fact, what much is our presence. And so it's very heartwarming na hanggang ngayon hindi ko makakalimutan that bringing not just the food that you can, no, the shelter that you can, but as well as the uh, your presence. It's a warm experience for everyone. Man, oh yeah, still. All right, I think there's a technical problem. I'm not sure if it is my connection. Can you hear me, Sir Vincent?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now. I think we lost you for a couple of seconds in your
All right,
presentation.
I'm just going to share the slide again.
All right, so you were sharing about your shall I say your insights being a med tech doing sabihin na lang natin philanthropic na activities. Can you like tell us about let us say the most significant siguro na activity wherein you can say na hi this profession is so rewarding because you get to share what you have or to extend what you have in the community.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Well, aside from the recent activities that I have encountered, where medical technologists are those who are recipient of the services, there was one very pronounced experience that I had. We went to medyo bukid na area somewhere in Maguindanao, and we experienced that we offered free medical service, and then one patient just passed out, on the table of the medical doctor, and she calls out for for a rescue. And to make the story short, the patient just died in front of that consultation table, and it's really heavy. And I thought it was just like that. So we accompanied the family. We went to their house, even further, sa taas pa, and we just found out that two of the sibling of the one who died also died of the same scenario. To tell you, they died of dehydration. It was amoeba who caused the dehydration, and until this time, I feel goosebumps that Filipinos suffer dehydration. That's very simple case, and they said it's the first time that they encounter a medical service, in nakakaantig na parang ang dami nating graduates, ang dami nating opportunities to serve. So the realization came out that uh, why don't we step out, go out from our boundaries and try to serve the public. Your very simple act of kindness would actually ripple, and that's really something. And that makes me value my profession. Kahit hindi ako doktor, but I really can detect the presence of amoeba in a stool. And if that were detected earlier, and then hydration was actually initiated early on, hindi nag-shut down ang organs. And so that is really something for me, and that creates a value to my profession.
Yes, although it's quite saddening to hear that, Sir Larry, but at the same time, it's also elating knowing that we get to hear narratives such as this. Na beyond your profession, you also get to share stories of success and philanthropic na missions. And so I think related yun sa yung sa slide, no, on the current slide na medtech ako tutulong ako. All right, go ahead po,
Uh,
Sir Larry. So sorry for the interruption.
no problem. Thank you, Sir Vincent, for those. I think those are very relevant questions that I would like to highlight in this slide. So I'll move on. Now, for the upcoming professionals, of course, we will not leave them behind. Very important that we also support those aspiring professionals. At kayo yun, no? Kayo yun, mga students ng medical laboratory science. PAMET partnered with Procter and Gamble, the Safeguard TNG, in order to deliver a continuous scholarship. It's across the country on every year basis. We offer new scholarship slot, 30 to 40 scholarship slots every year, no? And that's offered for second year medical laboratory science students. It's a full scholarship for aspiring medical laboratory science. They will undergo, it's a competitive slot attainment, so they will undergo a rigorous interview. No, one hint that I could actually give them is that you have to have a good reason why you took medical technology. And community service can be one. Going back to your community and giving back to your community is one of those reasons that can be that will catapult you to attain at least one slot for the scholarship. Aside from that, we develop leaders from the different schools. So as early as when they are having their studies, they didn't know that when we go to their campuses, we ask their professors, we ask their deans, no, who are the student leaders, because these are the future leaders as well of our profession, and we value the works that they do. No, alam ko yung mga host natin na mga students dito, these students has leadership value, kaya identified na po kayo. Ayan. Just recently, we also launched the PAMET Brigada Escuela. Of course, everything's done in virtual, and we invited interested parties for the Safeguard Scholarship, which produce a lot of scholars throughout the country. Even when they graduate, they have responsibility. You have to serve the Philippines for at least 2 years. No, you cannot serve other countries, and that's your return of service, which is actually very short. But a lot of our scholars, glad to say, stayed in the country, or whenever they go out, they get education and they go back to the Philippines. And they offer their expertise, they offer their research work, their output, and educate further young minds and aspiring professionals in the country. And it's very touching to really see um, scholars, PNG scholars of PAMET that are coming in and offering their services to the upcoming professionals. So wag kayong mawalan ng pag-asa dahil kahit estudyante pa kayo, PAMET is trying to engage with your school and with your academic preparations. And PAMET is also creating an opportunity, a venue for scholarly competition. We do this on an annual basis. It was actually just recently conducted yung quiz show among schools in all over the country. It's done virtually, and we invite JMC to participate as soon as you have fourth year students, because the best participant for the quiz show, PAMET PASMET quiz show, are the senior students or the interns. No, we normally call them the interns. And we also do promotion of the profession even in senior high school. I have done promotion not just for PAMET, as well as for other international organizations, moving for the promotion of the medical laboratory science. Now, aside from the students, we also are. Sorry, ayan. We also would like to express that we are part, I think I was able to mention this earlier, we are part of the disaster relief primarily for the medical laboratory science community. However, we spill our relief spills over to other communities where the medtech resides. So I suggest live with a medical technologies. And then we also offer free laboratory services throughout the country. Hindi po yan limited lang sa Mindanao or sa Visayas or sa National Capital Region. We offer various laboratory services in the form of laboratory examinations. Normally, we do that on site, like urinalysis stool exam, measuring the hemoglobin, kung saan ay ito yung nagdadala ng oxygen, and this is responsible for oxygenation. Napaka-emphasize ngayon ang hemoglobin dahil nga whenever someone gets COVID, no, at lalong-lalo na pag medyo severe ang case, we really need oxygen. And remember, our blood carries the oxygen. And then blood type is very important, so we also do that as a free service. No, blood donation as well. We push for the blood donation activities. A lot of chapters, in fact, all chapters have participated in blood donation programs and advocacies. And I think with the recent health crisis, bumaba ang ating supply ng blood. No? I've been talking to few leaders and laboratory key decision makers in blood bank industry, and they have said that our blood supply went down to half of the usual. And so whenever someone needs blood, they are worried that when another disaster arise, not just the existence of pandemic, talagang bababa yung supply ng ating blood. And right now, ina-advocate natin that everyone who are capable to donate blood, please donate blood. Contact our blood centers in Davao City. They really badly need your blood. And the patients are, the blood serves, ang dugong binibigay ninyo serves as the bloodline of our patients. Some of the surgeries, major surgeries, cannot proceed without blood supply. We also do health promotion activities. Very common are hand hygiene, self-care. I think for the past months, your social media account was flooded by these images. This is a medical technology somewhere in Maguindanao who performed CPR to a patient na nalunod, no? And then this one occurs in, I think, Agusan or somewhere in northern Mindanao, na nagkaroon ng sunog, pero makita ninyo ang medtech may pakbag na, pero tinatapos niya ang cross-matching ng blood. Those are silent but heroic acts that medical technologists don't just do it for I mean, because they are required, because this is their simple responsibility in their respective places. But even in times of disaster, they are really making sure that the patient receives the best of the service of laboratory. You can see here, Ma'am Bea, even distributing mga relief supplies to even our medical technologists who are undergoing quarantine, no, especially in the early period of 2020, where the pandemic struck us, and all of us are unprepared, and so everyone scouts for PPE. We channel all those supplies because a lot of private entities are channeling their supplies. Okay. And in terms of affiliation, um, I can you can see here is affiliated with whether local. You have your PFPA, you have your CHOP, your PCQ, ACL. I think medical technology community understands this. These are local organizations of professionals that are directly related to the practice of medical laboratory science. You have the Philippine Quality Council for Quality Assurance in Clinical Laboratory. PAMET has partnered with Biorisk Association of the Philippines because, of course, we wanted to prevent the spread of infection in the laboratory, as well as the access of individuals who have some intent, no bad intent in making the organism available for catastrophic events such as bioterrorism. So we really need, to strengthen that. On the aspect of local government, let me just share my slide. I'm losing my slide. All right. I just shared back my slide. I hope, right. All right, shall I continue? I'm nearing to the last slide. Aside from the local government agencies, which I have mentioned earlier, PHS, CHED, DOH, DOLE, which most of the time they get inputs from the medical laboratory science. Again, they're not just getting input from the national office. They would rather want to have input from the localities. And the chapter presidents, the regional directors are uh, invited, to sit down and provide inputs on national and local issues. On an international level, PAMET is also affiliated with AACLS. This is an association of medical laboratory or clinical laboratory scientists across ASEAN region. We also have the AAMLS, the Asia Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, even the International Federation of Biomedical Laboratory Scientists, IFCC, the APFCV, and even the American Society for Clinical Pathology. In fact, members of PAMET get membership discounts as well as priority acceptance to meetings, international meetings and trainings under these organizations. However, PAMET as an organization do not does not exist simply with all the beautiful stories. There's a lot of challenges facing PAMET is facing right now. To mention some, I think this is not exclusive for PAMET. We have experienced decline of supply of fresh professionals due to the disruption of the schedule of the board exam. There is also an increased need in the clinical, public health, and academic industries. Hindi lang po clinical ang nag-increase. No? You can also see that even in the academic industry, uh, in teaching students, no, it requires a lot of faculty, especially in the internship. And so there's a lot of slot opened up, no, to be filled up by medical laboratory science. And it's not only that, even in public health, in both local and national government, the city health office, the national office of health, and they are looking for medical technologists who have experiences in public health and the implementation of program. Aside from that, I think Ma'am Bea was able to mention earlier that there was even a challenge on the outbound, which means some of our students shifted from the field, from medical laboratory science to non-medical field. Some of them, in fact, serve at the field health. No? Some of them serve as in the BPO, and we call it outbound. Some of them went abroad, and there are those who naturally exceeded our workforce in a form of retirement. And so this adds pressure on the existing decline of supply of fresh professionals. And well, of course, we have seen the decline in the supply of PPE, not just the supply, even the logistics on the delivery of PPE. These are the things that I think the profession, the organization is facing right now. You can see at the bottom there is a continued postponement of the board examination for medical technologies, and just in the month of March this year, no, wala pong board exam last year. So we were anticipating that there is a decline of supply of medtechs in just this March nagkaroon ng board exam, at wala pa sa 2,000 ang pumasa sa board exam, because there were, I think, about um, less than 3,000 who took the board exam, or 2,500, 1,900 passed the board exam. And this is a very lean months for the production of medtechs. The action so far that PAMET is taking are the dialogues with the executive branch. We have discussed the SRA with the Department of Health, which extended to the medical technologies, kasi nga ang issue noon ay hindi kasama ang mga medtech dahil hindi naman sila ang nasa bedside. But in reality, no, we are the ones processing the sample, and so we are in fact exposed, not necessarily with the patient, but with the virus itself. And then we also have the DOLI LGU concerns, where discrimination is not only limited to other professionals, but as well as to medical laboratory science. And we also acted on that. In fact, one of the counselors in somewhere in Metro Manila apologized because of the words he uttered, no, during the time na siguro medyo mainit ang ulo. No? But PAMET makes sure that these events okay. Aside from that, yeah, there's a support as well on the conduct of the board exam, because we have been consulted in terms of the conduct of the board exam, and finally we decided last last quarter of last year that the board exam should pursue on the month of March. No, and with the early demise of Ma'am Marilyn Atienza, one of our pillars in PAMET, nagkaroon ng parang delay, no, on the even on the legislation, kasi siya ang aming chairperson sa legislation. But right now, we are recovering in terms of reorganization of the legislation committee of PAMET, and we are pushing for another revision and amendment. And we are about to sit with other stakeholders to discuss on the content of the proposed amendment of the medical technology. We also pushed on insurance, PPE, mitigation control, as well as on the benefits, especially those who are vulnerable, as well as those who have quarantine. We also coordinated chapters to create support team. That's why we were able to deliver support to the different healthcare institution. We also coordinated with government agencies such as DOH to provide, at least in region 11, we were able to coordinate the support so that PPEs will be delivered in the resource-stricken areas such as Davao del Sur. With all the things that we have done, I hope you have a picture of how PAMET works. No, hindi lang sa profession, hindi lang sa professional, but I think more importantly is our responsibility to the community where we belong. And I hope that creates some vacuum in your heart to step out from your boundaries and allow other people to experience your competencies. Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
There we have it, JMC EduTrends family, the regional director of PAMET Southern Mindanao, joining us in the show today, Sir Larry J. Langaman. And we'd like to bring back again on screen Sir Ray to give us a quick recap sa presentation ni Sir Larry. Parang ano ito, Sir, naman nabigla si Sir Ray ba? On the spot ito na ano. Oral, ano ito, Sir? Oral presentation. Yes, Sir Ray. Ano ba yung ano? Just a quick recap of the presentation for today. What went through?
Okay, I think Sir Larry basically discussed the role of the PAMET or role of PAMET, both in the professionals or for professionals, for the upcoming professionals, and in the community. And it's really great to hear that PAMET is not only focusing on the professionals per se, but also to the future ones and the community. So let me ask you just one thing, sir. So aside from the things that you mentioned earlier, are there any future programs that PAMET is planning on that we can look up to add up to those things, or things that could further take the profession to heights in the Philippines?
That's right. There's a lot of program from the national to the regional, and even the chapter itself is doing really good in terms of planning. And I have to mention again the team of Mambea because the culture of organizational dynamism in PAMET Davao City chapter is alive, and I really commend all the members, both past and present, because of their dedication in terms of their time, their talent, and sometimes even of their treasure. No, wala pong chapter president ng PAMET na hindi nag-shell out ng kanyang treasure and pera, and that's the reality. No, if we're asked for a program, I think there's a lot of program. I have to mention the laboratory management program where they are trying to develop to raise the competency. No, hindi lang nasa papel, but in fact, what medical technologists right now have attained in terms of management. They medical technologists can actually lead an organization. It's not just the section. It's not just the department. No, modesty aside, I also was a manager for an ultrasound, OB ultrasound. I also had the opportunity to manage an oncology, a cancer center, and those experiences can actually be put together so that the exercise of the profession of medical laboratory science is not limited to the clinical laboratory. In fact, there are medical technologists who are president of the organization, who are vice president for their organization, and that is something that they would like to develop. And so we call it the leadership track. Another thing that is occurring on the Philippine Innovations Framework. I don't know if you have heard of this. This is a law in the Philippines where the qualification of the not just medtech, all across industries, is going to be recognized and raised, and that medical technology license under PRC should be recognized, but just simply, am I coming in good or is my audio patchy?
It's breaking in and out, Sir Larry, but do not worry. I still got the message that you're trying to translate
All right,
across.
I'll finish the statement. I'll finish the statement. So the direction is they're going to make an opportunity for the medical technologies to level up their skill in a competency, and so eventually you will see in your PRC ID that there's a medical technology specialist one, medical technology specialist two, and this is not true to medical technology alone. This is across industry. And this is what PAMET is engaging with PRC. We're trying to develop the track for those who are working in the clinical. Because for those who are working, like Sir Ray, who is working in the academic industry, there is already a tracking like you have your master's, you have your PhD. But for clinical practice, wala pa. And that's something that we want to develop so that the world will recognize our competency. Magaling na ang medtech ng Pilipinas kahit saang section mo ilagay compared to other healthcare professionals and medical laboratories, graduates of other countries that they only focus on specific area such as microbiology, clinical microscopy. But graduates of medical technology in the Philippines can be deployed in all areas of the clinical laboratory. And that's something that we want to be recognized. And so we want those competencies to be recognized globally. And that's something that I think promising, no, for the upcoming professionals.
Indeed, such wonderful things to look forward to. Meanwhile, so Larry and Sir Ray, let's have a breather. We're going to have or observe a quick break. And when we return, we're going to have on board our student reactors from the College of Medical Technology. And we shall also entertain questions from our audience joining us live on YouTube and Facebook. All right. Stand by with us and let us all together watch this.
As the coronavirus killed
The number of
more than
people who've
200,000
contracted the
I can't say it
coronavirus
enough.
continues to grow.
Enough
More than
people have died.
1,600
We don't need
Americans
any more
are
deaths
infected.
like
The
crazy.
virus has come not from China.
fighting the coronavirus is
Spent
success.
weeks minimizing what is clearly a very serious problem. No doubt these people have good intentions.
I think the pandemic has reminded us how we do not have enough doctors in the right specialties and in the right places. Since the beginning of the pandemic, if you would try to remember, doctors have been working round the clock in order to save the lives of people. And in the process also of doing this one, many dedicated doctors succumb to the deadly virus. And we know all that one in many news that we have seen. We also see hospitals overflowing with patients, understaffed, but then the battle continues. This in itself is a manifestation that the growing need for doctors in every corners of the world remain to become a reality and at the same time a problem. The path to a significant curricular reform is a difficult thing because of a variety of factors, to include the challenge of physical distancing, since we all know practice-based learning is the backbone of education, especially among doctors. We need to see patients. We need to harness our skills, knowledge, and attitude by looking at patients, okay, so that this would be able to enhance or forge our professional identity and develop an orientation to a patient-focused based care that would shape the practice of future medical doctors. We wanted to produce doctors with a heart. And our goal is also to define a unique characteristic that will be anchored to the local needs and national health needs of the people of Mindanao. I believe looking at the vision mission of the college and influenced by the universal healthcare law, I think we seek to envision and integrate a comprehensive approach that will be cost-effective, promotive, and preventive, as well as curative, palliative, and rehabilitative, one that would encompass the entire domain of the individuals and the population, particularly here in Mindanao. For we are trying to be committed in producing medical doctors imbued with a heart to serve and is willing to contribute for nation building in our country. And I think this is always a possible. This is always our strategic plan to set apart JMC as a college of medicine. We wanted to create doctors with a heart. We are very lucky. We have our own LMS, the Learning Management System, powered by Huawei. This is the first in the Philippines. Everything is there in terms of lectures, in terms of resources for learning. And I think our new generation could adapt of it because these are the computer-based population. The COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut down all across the world, and education has changed with the distinctive rise in the new method of learning. And I think adaptability and ingenuity were the two core values that we have learned from this experience. Dream big. They have to dream big. Dare to dream. As long as you have the dedication, you have the passion of becoming good doctors in the future, we welcome you to the College of JMC, especially in the Department of Medicine.
And we are back. You're still tuned into another episode of JMC EduTrends, a discussion on PAMET for medical technologists, organizations as pillars for professionals. And still with me on the show is our guest speaker. We have Sir Larry J. Langaman and one of our faculty, my equally dynamic host for today, Sir Ray. Sir Ray, I'm going to ask your help to please introduce our student reactors joining us for today.
Okay, joining with us during or on this question and answer portion, we have invited students from the College of Medical Technology. They're both on their first year level, so bago pa. But I think are well, or they got a lot of insights from Sir Larry's talk a while ago. So to introduce them, we have Miss Resogene Maningas, and we have uh, Mr. Kyle Charvi Pellerin. I mean to say we have Miss Catherine May Dumamba and Mr. Kyle Charvi Pellerin. Good evening, guys.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the show.
Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening po.
Good evening, Sir Larry, Sir Ray, Sir Vincent.
All right. Sir, I think ito yung mga ano napansin ko sa Facebook, hindi ako sa ano sa medtech, but napansin ko parang trending ngayon yung katusok freshies. Ito ba, does the hashtag refer to yung first year college students?
Well, I think so, sir. I think so. Basically, invented recent invention lang yung katusok, but it's really a witty one. So, well, let's use it.
All right. Shall we now hear their reactions? Shall we start with Miss Catherine Maybach?
Good evening po. Uh,
Hi, good evening.
Sir, my first question po, it's first of all po, it's an honor po to be invited po today. And my first question po is, what are the qualifications po to be a PAMET member po?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Catherine, for joining us today. Um, the qualification would be you should be a medical technologist or medical technician. So after you pass your board exam, you are highly qualified. No? And that's just one of the qualifications. Of course, you need to be oriented on the responsibilities of becoming a member of PAMET. Generally speaking, if you pass the board exam, licensure exam for medical laboratory science or medical technologies na hindi pa naman napapalitan yung pangalan ng medtech sa board exam, you are technically qualified to apply as member of PAMET. Generally speaking, after a licensed medical technologist took their oath, no, uh, usually doon na din ang kanilang induction as a member of PAMET. When you become a member of PAMET, you need to identify which chapter will you belong. There would be two considerations. One is the place of your work. So if you work in Davao City, then the nearest chapter that you will be but if you go back to your province, say you're living in North Cotabato, there's also a chapter in North Cotabato, situated in Kidapawan, and so you need to decide which one is your preference. Is this the residence or is it the work of place? Either way, that's an acceptable reason of joining a chapter of PAMET. Of any chapter, recognized chapter of PAMET, make you a member of the national organization. Did I make my point or should I repeat that? Because images are coming in and out. I'm not sure baka signal ko ang problema.
Miss Kath?
Thank you po for answering po the question. My next question po is, I hope you don't mind me asking po, are there any like how about po those doctors who took medtech as their pre-med po, are they can they join the PAMET po?
Yeah, I think that's a very significant question. Let me know if I'm coming in patchy so that I could repeat the statement. Am I coming in good? Is my audio good?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
All right. I think that's a very relevant question. When someone became a medical technologist and then nag-enroll siya as medicine, and then pwede ba siya maging member ng PAMET? Is that what you're saying, Kat?
Sorry po sir, I didn't get it po. Mahina po kasi signal dito.
Yeah. What you're saying is someone is a licensed medical technologist and then nag-proceed siya sa medicine. Will he qualify still as a member of PAMET? Is that what you're saying?
Yes po, yes
Right.
po.
Okay. Yeah, you're very qualified. Like I said earlier, a member of PAMET is qualified as a member if he or she passes the board exam. And so whether he decides to enroll in any other courses, no, be it a vocational or a law or medicine in JMC, he is still qualified to become a member. He can actually maintain his membership while attending other courses or even while exercising other profession. That's an opportunity that we cannot take out from a licensed medical technologist.
Uh, Thank you po for answering my question po. My last question na lang po is, was there a time po that PAMET involved in civic activities or social activities in partnership with medtech students po?
Yes, I think that's a very relevant question to the presentation that I have presented, and I would like to underscore again that partnership partnership with any academic institution, with civic affairs is very important. This is something that PAMET will need to continue doing. In fact, to mention, PAMET Davao is partnered with Davao City Water District. All of us are consumers of water, and PAMET Davao City chapter is actually a partner of Davao City Water District. The reason why we pushed for that partnership is because we simply recognize the importance and the value of the quality of water. And who does the examination of water? It's us, it's medical technologies. And we are extending our help, our support, our competency in terms of ensuring that the quality of water is that of top. No? Alam natin, ang water sa Davao City is one that's recognized of high quality. And so we are partnering with them not just on the examination, not necessarily on the examination of water, but as well as on educating the community in terms of engaging with the community in terms of health, in terms of hygiene. Kasi ang tubig ng Davao City will be transitioning from the underground to a surface water. And when we do that, no, ang tubig natin will be taken from a surface water that's very eligible for contamination. At isa yon sa gusto nating i-educate, that we should be part. No? Kailangan makipag-engage tayo in a civic activity na hindi lang lagi para sa laboratory, hindi lang lagi para sa competency ng isang medtech, but more importantly, we give back to the community. Water is very important, and so though is the quality of water. And it should start from the community that's adjacent to the water source.
Thank you po for answering all my questions. I think that is all for me po.
It's my pleasure, Kat. Thank you for asking those questions.
Thank you so much, Kath, for raising your questions. Sir Ray, shall we entertain one question from our YouTube viewer?
So, okay, so this is from one of the audiences, sir. This is from Resa Jean Maningas. She asked, if what do you think is the greatest contribution of PAMET in the Philippine healthcare setting, especially amidst the unprecedented pandemic?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I think that should be answered. You know, with all the chaos brought by the pandemic, you always try to go back on who has it, and then who's going to be treated. You know, with all the mitigation controls, the role of medical technology is on the detection of whether you have it or you don't have it. That very simple answer, I mean, that very simple question is answered by medical technologies. And if you take out, I think one example of really putting value on the practice of medical technology is that if you take out medical technologies in the equation of treatment and management of COVID, well, I don't know if you call it an equation. You know, you cannot treat a patient if you do not know if he or she harbors the virus. And that is the task of a medical technologist. Treatment can only start when you are identified that you have one. So I think that answers the question how important the profession of medical technology is.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Larry. So I guess we'll hear now from Sir or Mr. Kyle Pellerin.
Hi, Sir Larry. Good evening.
Hi, good evening,
So,
Kyle.
first of all, sir, I want to thank you for the wonderful and very informative talk na tonight. Then it's a privilege for me to to be invited and to be one of the student reactors po. So, I have a question lang po, sir. So, is COVID-19 pandemic going to serve as an engine to innovation in medical technology? If yes po, how?
Right. That's a very intelligent question, Kyle. And I think very relevant in today's discussion across the globe, is the value of the value and the contribution of medical technology. You have heard politicians, you have heard leaders across the world talking about medical technology. And one of the reason why we have milestones, it will only spark at some point. It's because of the need for innovation. And when you say, is the innovation is going to spark something and highlight the profession? Definitely, yes, it will. Even as we experience, basic requirement nowadays when you are admitted in the hospital is actually the detection, the result of the laboratory, whether you have or you don't have the virus. And because of those lineup of policies, you have guidelines. They are rooted on the requirement, and that will bring about the importance of the profession. Innovation is a significant vehicle in propelling and reaching certain level of the profession. So yes, I think uh, um, uh, technology for one, no, that's something, but it's not just about technology. We also have to level up our knowledge, and we really need to look at the data that we are gathering right now. Clinical laboratory might say that they are just testing the sample, but genomic testing, sequencing, those are the things that we really need to look at. And these are data. These are not just clinical sample, but these are data that would actually escalate the need or even identify and make us more informed in terms of deciding the variants that we encounter. These are product of next gene sequencing, and these are the data that we generate in the laboratory. So it's not just about the technology, it's also about how we are going to utilize the information that we have acquired because of these technologies.
Thank you for the wonderful answer, sir. So, for my next question, sir, um, COVID-19, sir, I have read different articles that COVID-19 is considered the first documented coronavirus pandemic in history. So, technologists are worried about direct exposure to COVID-19. So, what advice can you give that technologists should consider to reduce their concerns?
Yeah, let me hear that again because I think I have lost just one or two lines.
Either so, COVID-19 is the first documented coronavirus pandemic in history, and technologists are worried about direct exposure to COVID-19. So, what advice can you give that technologists should consider to reduce their concerns po?
Right. I think it's a concern across the globe. Whether you are working in the laboratory or not, the virus do exist within or outside the laboratory. One very important aspect is, of course, biosafety. If it's the first time that you have encountered the word, it's biosafety. It's a safety of biological agent, and that's really something because as part of the licensing, just last year, our government, the Department of Health, issued guidelines on how clinical laboratories can be accredited as a testing center for COVID. And one of their basic requirement is that technologists will need to undergo what we call the basic biosafety training. Even if you have the latest technology, or even if you have the most beautiful building where you can install your molecular laboratory for testing for COVID, if you do not exercise as well as develop the culture of biosafety, where this is on the practices involved in terms of protecting personnel from the spread of the virus within the laboratory, then it's not going to work. So the one thing that that I can suggest is to work on not just learn, but to exercise and to develop a culture of biosafety. Because only after the exercise of biosafety, the safety protocols that you integrate in your system, only then that you can protect yourselves.
Okay, so thank you for that, sir. So, for my last question po, how can PAMET sustain comprehensive programs to enhance competencies of the medical laboratory science professionals, especially in our current situation po?
Right. Again, that's very relevant question as all professions grumble for an opportunity to learn, no? And we thought that it's really difficult to deliver and raise the competency, and then eventually we recognize that it's not just the ability, the capability to really deliver. Sometimes it's invasive at times. You know, you can attend so many trainings online, yet very few retained, no, in your head. And one thing really that would actually propel PAMET to sustain the development and the maintenance and the improvement of competency is really network. That's really one. You know, PAMET as an organization cannot exist on our own. It has to rely on the engagement of its members. You know, by just simply saying, uh, at this level, we need this training. At this particular sector of the laboratory industry, we need this competency. By just simply saying that, by just simply sharing that to any office of PAMET, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity for PAMET to really deliver a training that would enhance the competency. But no, it should not be the sole responsibility of PAMET alone. It has to link, no, its services to international organizations. So that's very important that PAMET should be linked in many organizations across many industries. It's not just the clinical laboratory. It's very important as well that it gets support from the legislation. No, sa panahon ngayon, napaka-importante ang legislation. That's why whenever a leader of PAMET or a director or an officer is summoned by any government agency, whether it is executive or local government, we have to attend because it is our responsibility, it is our duty to respond to this so that when we try to decide pababa, no, yung step down decision namin should be guided by the what is going on internationally, and that we can deliver that on a level, no, na it will address what is needed. Sometimes the trainings that we provide will just simply touch the skill, but there are trainings that will not only develop the skill, but as well as develop the heart. And that is something that we would like to continue doing. No, it's not just about delivering the training, but it is honing your head, your heart, as well as your head, the three H.
Thank you for the enlightenment, sir. So that would be all for me po. So maraming salamat po ulit and happy MedTech month.
Happy Medtech
All right,
Week
happy
for
MedTech.
Kyle and for Pat.
Yep, happy MedTech Week po to all our MedTech students and to Sir Larry. Sir, ako lang ano for the sake of triangulating information processing, we've got questions from faculty. We have questions from students who are into medical technology. I'll be representing the question of the layman because I would like to know kasi may sinasabing working in a lab means every day is a surprise. Can you like tell us so that we also get to hear or know a bird's eye view sa mundo ng medical technology? Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng working in a lab every day is a surprise? What's in it po?
Oh, what's in it for me to work in the laboratory? Is that what you're trying to ask, Sir Vince?
Yung ano po ba ano yung ibig sabihin ng work in a lab means every day is a surprise po?
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry. I'm getting it patchy.
Okay po. Yung tinatawag po ng working in a lab means every day is a surprise. To you po,
Oh,
what
okay.
does it mean sa mundo po ng medical technology?
Yeah, I agree with that statement. You know, when you enter the laboratory to work, you get surprised sometimes that these are the number of patients. I'll give you one example. I started off as a histopath technician, so I worked in histopathology, and then I was moved to blood bank, and then I am a responder for ER, and then eventually I worked with the phlebotomy for a short period. And we were extracting blood sample, and for quite a number of patients now, we were entertaining patients in English. So parang ano ng dila, bakit ba puro English ito? And then there's one patient that came near the extraction area. Tapos ay salamat, sabi ko, Pinoy na to. So I can talk in Cebuano or Tagalog. Lumapit yung nanay, sabi sa akin, "Sir, English lang ha kasi hindi nakakaintindi." So it's a surprise, And there's even one scenario that ang sabi nung nung nanay, sabi niya, "Oh, iwan na kita ha." Sabi nung bata, I overheard it. So kasama ko yun sa extraction. Sabi nung bata, "No, you can't leave me," sabi nung bata. So nandun yung nanay. And then slowly umalis yung nanay. Tapos sabi nung bata, nung nilalagyan pa lang ng tourniquet, may parang rubber na nilalagay. Sabi nung bata, sinigawan niya nanay niya. Sabi niya, "Ma'am, she doesn't know what she's doing." So those are surprises that you really encounter. Even in microbiology, this day you encounter a certain bacteria. The following day, there's a lot of these bacteria. So there's a lot of surprises that you really encounter. Once you walk into the laboratory, your mindset should be, you should be open to any surprises. Because if you come into a laboratory and your mindset, I'm just going to entertain a patient that are good, that are not hot-tempered, that are, organisms that I only know. No, that's not the mindset. The mindset's going to be, I will enter a laboratory today, I will work, and I love surprises.
Wow, grabe. Ang galing na punchline yun na para maging motivated ka as a medical technologist. I get into the lab today. I need to expect na may surprises. Grabe, parang everyday is a birthday, Sir Larry.
Right.
Since you mentioned one, isa na lang po from me, representing the layman of our audience, no. Since you mentioned something that appears to be parang untoward siya siguro sa inyong mundo, how do you handle a patient? Siguro pwede yung the kid you dealt with who is refusing to cooperate for unnecessary medical test or procedure. Paano po ba 'yon?
Yeah, we get to encounter that every now and then, and that is something that is not a surprise. When you are a medtech, it should not be a surprise. No, hindi lahat ng tao na pumapasok sa laboratory ay very much willing to undergo the procedure. So we expect those things to really occur. And one thing that I can suggest now, aside from alam niyo po ba na kahit sabihin natin I was 5-7 years working in the laboratory, every time that you will be assigned in phlebotomy, which means you will be encountering mga pasyente, and you don't know saan sila nanggaling, anong scenario sila nanggaling, and when they go to your laboratory and interact with you, mainit ang ulo. So how do you do that? You pray. You pray that your patience will be extended. Wag niyo pong ipanalangin na, "Lord, wag niyo po akong bigyan ng pasyenteng masungit. Wag niyo po akong bigyan ng pasyenteng resistant." So you will pray for patience. You will pray for competence. Sabihin ko sa inyo, every morning during that time nagdu-duty ako ng 5 a.m., 6 a.m. before I go to my workplace. Nananalangin ako, "Lord, i-extend niyo po yung patience ko. Dapat yung competence ko ay i-boost niyo po." Those are the prayers that we really pray for. We don't pray for the type of patient because that is going to ruin your day, because every day you will encounter them. And tip number 2, mahaba pala, dalawa lang. Tip number 2, I've used this several times, enhance your listening skill. Very important that you listen intently. Sa phlebotomy or in any encounter with patient, identify your patient as your champion. Do not be at the center of the discussion. Yes, you are the source of information, but develop your listening skill. Paano ba magkaroon ng listening skill? Listen to them intently. Wag yung may sinasabi siya, ang daming ginagawa, no? Look at them, listen to them, you respond in a very short manner. Say, sir, ayaw ko kuha adri. I mean, wag niyo akong kunan dito na side, no? Kasi meron akong surgery dito na side, no? Kayo, yes ma'am, I recognize. Tama po kayo. So sa kabila po ako tutusok. By saying that, you recognize their need. And when they see that, they will appreciate you. I tell you, there's a lot of senior patients who really appreciate. Hindi ko, ayaw kong iangat ang sarili kong bangko, but I really enjoyed serving senior citizen. Sila ang pinakamaagang pasyenteng pumupunta sa laboratory. Sila yung pinakamatagal na nag-aantay. Sila yung nagpa-fasting ng matagal. At ayaw nila na pag kinausap mo sila, they don't value. Their comments are not valued. And so, that is the secret of intently listening.
Ayun naman pala, yung may listening with intention. Kasi alam mo, Sir Larry, nakaka-relate ako no, because siguro sa traits na minention mo, I think ganun ako eh. Parang pag may mga parang may phobia ako sa mga people in white, in white uniform. I'm like resistant, Anyway. So much for
Huwag kayong
the
mag-alala, Sir Vince, kasi kahit sila, takot din sila ng injection. So you're not alone.
Ganun pala yun. The feeling is
Hindi po lahat
mutual.
ng nakaputi. Yeah, hindi lahat ng nakaputi ay matapang yan. I mean, they really look dainty and all, but some of them are afraid still of the needle.
Ayun naman pala. At least patas naman pala yung laban.
Correct.
Right, Sir Larry, before we say our formal thank you to you, magkaroon muna tayo ng parang fast talk lang. Tatlong lang naman, at tatlong sets lang naman. So, pero kasali dito yung students natin kasi Sir Larry so that we get to know ano yung mga preferences ninyo as medtech students, of faculty members, and tsaka shall we say thought leader. Again, Sir Larry, once again, thank you po sa and ready ka na ba? At saka the
Wala
rest
na
of
akong
our...
choice, sir. Parang I was put on the spot. But I will enjoy it. I tell you, I love survival.
Madali lang naman ito, Sir Larry. Pili ka lang sa dalawa. Yung una, we're gonna have a turn taking, Sir Larry, and then Kyle, then Ray, and then Kat. All right, for that matter. Safeguard or Vaseline?
Is it
Larry?
me who's going to answer?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. Definitely it's safeguard.
Okay. No explanation. Kyle.
Right.
Sir, soft drinks or juice?
Teka lang, Kyle. Alright. Sige. Gusto ko to si Kyle, parang gusto ko siyang kasama maging host. Teka lang, Kyle. You are going to choose lang between the set that I will say, Safeguard or Vaseline?
Safeguard, Sir Vince.
Alright. Do not worry, Kyle. I'm going to return the favor to you sa akin soft drink. Okay? Para at least ma-answer din kita. Sir Ray.
Of course, tangkilikin ang sariling atin, safeguard for medtech.
Cool. Ito, hindi ako familiar dito pero I'm so sorry, I am Miss Kath. Kath pa pala.
Safeguard po.
Oh, sige na nga, makigaya na rin ako, safeguard. Okay, ito, hindi ako familiar dito sa mga terms pero baka alam nyo to. Colorimeter or autoclaves?
Oh. Should I answer first?
I'm sorry, sir.
Should I
naputol ka po.
answer first? Yeah.
Yes,
should I answer first? Yeah, it's autoclave.
Cool. Kyle.
Sir, can you repeat the choices, sir?
Colorimeter or autoclaves?
I'll go with autoclaves as well.
Oh my God. Parang may parang great minds think alike talaga. Sir Ray.
Well, I'll have to go with colorimeter.
Cool. Sige, tanong ko yan later. Sir, Miss Kat.
autoclaves po.
Alright. Since nahati yung ano natin, yung Sir Ray, ano ba yung colorimeter? Mabilis ang ano lang po.
It's a colorimeter is a principle so in analyzing the chemicals is in the laboratory.
Cool.
So you measure
Sir,
the amount of the substance using the color.
oh, from the word
Yeah, right.
color, literally
It-
color. I see,
yes,
I see.
yes.
Sir Larry, on the other hand, ano man yung autoclaves po?
Well, I answered earlier about biosafety. One of the equipment that you use to ensure that there is safety in terms of biological agent is with the use of autoclave. So it sterilizes.
Oh, pang step. I see, I see. Sige,
Yeah.
sige. Ganun pala yun. And finally po, blue or green, Sir Larry?
Well, I blue, sorry, green.
Okay, green. Okay,
I'm sorry,
Kyle.
Pamet.
Kyle.
Sir, blue po.
Sige, Sir Ray.
Blue din po.
Whiskas.
Green po.
Buti naman. Okay, para may tiebreaker, doon na rin ako sa green. Okay, so 3 votes for green. Alright. Anyway, thank you so much, Sir Larry. We've had so much fun and we have learned a lot. Napaka-comprehensive ng iyong presentation on the world of medical technology. And at this point in time, I'd like to request Sir Ray to extend our institutional gratitude to you through this token of appreciation through a certificate po. Sir Larry, please do the reading of the citation, please.
Oh, this certificate of appreciation is awarded to Mr. Larry J. Langaman, RMT ASCPI, PAMET Southern Mindanao Regional Director, for his selfless service in sharing his knowledge and expertise as our highly esteemed resource speaker in the webinar PAMET for Medical Technologists, Organizations as Pillar for Professionals, during the JMC EduTrends live stream program, given this 24th day of September 2021 at Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway, Sasa, Davao City, Philippines.
There we have it. Once again, Sir Larry, we are more than grateful to have you in our show for giving the invitation. And sir, before we bid goodbye to our audience, any last few words po? And shall we say parang ano po, message for your Med Week celebration?
Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Before I deliver my last message, I would like to say thank you for the administration of JMC for the kind invitation as well as the show. I really enjoyed the show. This is one for the book, and I think that I'll be open for any invitation coming from your school. And well, my message for everyone is that it's an opportune time to engage. The PAMET is moving towards collective effort of really hearing your ideas, hearing your concerns, and constructively addressing that, discussing that, and providing solutions to that. And we would like you to continue engaging with your chapter, continue engaging with your organization, because this is the only accredited professional organization for medical technologies. And we would like to share with you the vision of PAMET about our vision of tomorrow of our profession. And so stay engaged and stay connected.
Stay engaged and stay connected, mga katusok. Once again, this is JMC EduTrends, produced by the Jose Maria College Training and Development section. Don't forget to find and follow us on Facebook and YouTube for more updates. We would like to acknowledge before we say goodbye sa ating marketing department for providing us with quality adverts in our show. At saka we also would like to extend our equal gratitude to our medical technology college department. There you have it. We have Mambaya Lau, Sir Ray joining us in the show today, and the rest of our students joining us. For JMC EduTrends, this is your host, Lord Vincent Van Mendoza. Joining me is.
And this is Ray Gomez.
We hope we've had the pleasure of your time. See you in our next episode. Keep safe, everybody. Peace out. Sir Ray, Sir Larry, Kyle, Kath, thank you po.
Thank you, guys.
That
Thank
ends
you.
another substantive discussion on JMC EduTrends, produced by the Jose Maria College Communication Affairs Office. On behalf of our founding president, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, thank you for being with us. Join us again next time for another interesting, inspiring, and transcending discussion on JMC EduTrends. Bye everyone, and keep safe.